Hey, what is up, guys, and how's it going? My name is Funky and welcome back to Doki Doki Literature Club Plus. So today's video, we're going to be going through part 2 of Trust. Trust is one of the 6 side stories that you can get in DDLC Plus. All you gotta do is just go for Sayori's route. That is how you get the Trust side story. And I think for all the other ones, you just gotta go for Yuri, Natsuki, and pretty sure that's like 6 right there, because unless if they count the parts, like, you know, part 1 is one of the side stories, part 2 is one of them, you know, until it makes 6. But yeah, anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for your support, and let's get right into this side story. I kind of enjoyed last part too. It was really nice. It was really, you know, refreshing to see that Monica and Sayori were actually happy, you know. Anyway, another day passes in a flash, and it's already time for the next club meeting. Although Monica should have come up with a plan for today's club task, she hasn't been able to shake her guilt and anxiety after reading Sayori's poem. I'm so stupid. How did I let myself be the center of attention? Sayori is going through these kinds of feelings and I'm letting her comfort me instead of the other way around. What kind of club president does that? A bitch. That's what you is, Monica. A bitch. This whole time, I didn't think to ask about her own feelings. So much for the stupid vision. Sayori enters the club room with her usual smile, but upon seeing the downcast Monica, her smile quickly fades into an expression of concern. Monica? Is everything okay? I'm really sorry. I'm such a terrible friend. Huh? What are you talking about? You're an amazing friend. Monica shakes her head. I made this all about myself. Even you said so yesterday. You told me that I'm trying to make the club that I need the most, right? But my problems are so trivial compared to yours. Sayori responds quietly. What are you talking about? But as she says that, her face darkens. Through the silence, Sayori mutters her realization. I left my folder here. Monica stares blankly ahead, unable to come up with a response. I wasn't ready to share those. Now you're worrying about me. I don't want that. But why? We're friends, right? Wordlessly, Sayori nods. Friends look out for each other. I want to be here for you as much as you're here for me. Another long moment passes in silence. The air is incredibly heavy, or as Yuri would say, the air has become stagnant. This is different. It wasn't just about you yesterday. It was about the club. Besides, things were so happy yesterday. You don't need to do this all of a sudden. I don't want it. I like happy. So if you do this, then you're just being selfish. Monica massages her forehead, struggling through the frustration of a paradox. Yeah, she is massaging that 6th head of a brain she has. It's understandable that Sayori isn't ready to share certain things. But as unfair as it is for Monica to pry, it's also painful for Monica to force herself to ignore the needs of her friend. I'm sorry I looked. I disrespected your privacy. No, I don't blame you for looking. You would have at least needed to check if it was mine. Yeah? Monica takes a deep breath. Okay. I understand that you don't want me to worry. And I think I'll be able to put this aside so that we can move on. But can you promise me something? Promise you what? Monica pauses to collect her thoughts. This is the literature club. It's a place where people can express themselves in the ways that life normally doesn't allow them to. That's the vision. In fact, it's our vision. Me and shut up, bitch. Me and you, Sayori. That's our vision. Write the way into your heart or whatever. Or write your way into his heart. Dee-dee-dee-dee. So I just want you to promise me that you'll remember that too. It doesn't have to be right now, but I want to be here for you when you need it. I want us to be ourselves like that. Sayori smiles gently. That's a cute smile. I just want to give that a kiss. I'll promise myself. I'll promise if you promise. Unable to help it, Monica returns Sayori's smile. I promise. Me too. Okay, good talk, ladies. As the conversation closes, the mood in the room is lifted. With that behind them, it is time to proceed with the club activities. So, want to teach me about poetry? Huh? But what about recruitment? It's fine, we got plenty of time for that. But right now, I feel like I want to do this. I mean, I do have to fulfill my end of the promise, you know? There's no way I could say no to that. Just don't expect much. I do a lot of writing, but it's not like I'm a scholar or anything. That's fine. I think I just need like some motivation. You know, I never know where to start when it comes to writing poems. Starting isn't so hard. You kind of just need to write down your feelings and see where it takes you. Yeah, but that wouldn't come out any good. It's not supposed to. You're gonna have to fight your perfectionist mind on this one. You can just start by writing your feelings and see what kinds of things it makes you think of. And then you can turn your feelings into a little story. You can get your feelings down first and then make it sound pretty later. It's not like building a railroad where you go from one end to the other. It's more like a college where you find all the things you want to put in and then you arrange them in a pretty way. At least that's how I do it. It's not like it's the only way, but it's a really good way to not get stuck right at the beginning. I understand. Yeah. I always get so caught up in how it sounds that I forget about what's actually important. Monica pulls out a pen and paper to start writing on. Stop being a perfectionist, you idiot. I just kidding. Yeah! Monica scribbles out, you idiot, after she writes it down. No, keep it. What? Why? Are you calling me an idiot? Of course not. But I am. But the point is that you're not supposed to police your feelings, right? Be as dramatic as you want. But I was just... Well, yeah. Underneath the scribble, Monica rewrites, you idiot. She stares at the paper. Her words stare back at her. It's kind of funny how I wrote down what I'm mad at myself for, and then I did that exact thing anyway. This is really going to take some getting used to. I believe in you. Thanks. I do too. Me, I mean. But you, of course. Monica continues the exercise, jotting down her thoughts. It's surprisingly quite a struggle to write without overthinking it. But after a while, with Sayori's guidance and encouragement, Monica's sheet of paper begins to look fairly lively, peppered with all of her random thoughts. Phew! Monica looks up and down at her sheet. Gosh, I feel so tense looking at this. I hate it, but it's also kind of liberating. I can tell how hard you're trying. It makes me happy. I think you'll be good at writing poems. Don't give me too much credit. I'd have to really try, really hard at it. But I think it's something that I'll enjoy doing with you. Sayori beams. I'll stop here, but we still have time. Let's try to work on a new flyer for the club. I won't be so picky about the language. Yay! Let's do it! Monica and Sayori proceed with their work. That was actually nice. And that was actually kind of nice. I like that. That was a nice exchange. You know, Monica learns how to write poetry. And from the dumbass herself, Sayori. But that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. Because she's my waifu, okay? With each passing day, the two of them become more confident in the club. Not simply from their recruitment plan. Oh, it's just the ambience from the music. Oh my god. Not simply from their recruitment planning, but from their vision as well. As their bond strengthens, so does the essence of the literature club. Finally, they begin to truly feel it's only a matter of time before they find more members. Huh, what about the purple hair supersized bitch? What about her? Or does she exist? Another day passes. As usual, Monica is the first to come to the club room. With her is a printout of the revised literature club filter, or flyer, complete with all the new ideas Monica and Sayori came up with. If only this was a flyer we gave to that one girl reading the other day. It's so much more attractive than the old one, but the new catchphrase is featured clearly in the center of the flyer. Write your way into your heart. Wait, is that what it said? Or, oh, write the way into your heart. The ink flows down into a dark puddle. Where did it say? Surely common sense would say that one writes from the heart, not into the heart. No, we're going to actually take our heart out and grab a pen, right? Hold on, a pen. We're talking like a whole pen, right? And then we could just, just take our heart out, be like, notice me, senpai. Just use our heart as a death note. Just, just do whatever you can. I accidentally ended the recording when I put my knife down and I was coughing up a storm because I kind of screamed wrong. So, yeah. But the message being delivered is that one can use writing to discover themselves. Hopefully, Monica and Sayori had thought that it would be enough to garner some curiosity from students. Why do I feel so tense looking at this? Monica thinks back to the previous meeting when she performed the writing exercise. Was I always this bad at expressing myself? How am I supposed to be the president if I can't even demonstrate what the club is supposed to be about? The literature club is truly beginning to take form. But with that, the weight on Monica's shoulders only becomes heavier. The debate club was always about rigid structure, formulating airtight points and counterpoints, and delivering them with conviction. It was about the person on the outside. That's why Monica was so good at it. It existed entirely within her realm of comfort. It's suffocating. I need to break through this mental wall. I need to learn to express myself for real. Monica pulls out a sheet of paper and grabs her pen. She presses the tip of the pen firmly against the paper. But her hand doesn't move. Instead, a tiny blot of ink collects around the tip of her pen. The ink flows down into a dark puddle. Monica lifts her pen and stares at the little blotch. For some reason, she feels compelled to run her finger across it. As she does so, the black ink smears across the paper, ruining Monica's canvas. Ugh. Out of spite for herself, Monica presses her pen down once again, letting the ink collect. She creates a second smear on the paper. Come on, Monica. Just move your hand, Monica writes. Oh, it even got this. This is what I get for seeking a perfection. A stain. What? Monica slides the paper away from her and puts her head down on the desk. Oh, she's going to sleep. I still got a cough. The air conditioner seems louder today. Yeah, it's more, instead of going like, it's going like, something like that. I'm here. Hi. Monica hears Sayori approach her desk, then stop for a second, probably reading the piece of paper. Then she sits down in the adjacent desk. Bad day? Me too. Wait, what's wrong with you, Sayori? You too? The new flyer looks so good. You've been working so hard. On the club, but also something else, I think. I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's so hard to just be vulnerable. Sayori takes a sheet of paper from Monica's desk. She writes something down, then stares at it for a while. Can I trust you? Of course. You could trust me with anything. Sayori gazes at Monica with sadness in her eyes. Understanding the signal, Monica takes the paper from Sayori's desk and reads it. Sometimes I want to die. Welcome to the club, bitch. Sayori. This is really hard for me. Her voice shakes. So, if I can do it, then you can too, because you're like a million times better than me. That's completely not true. Sayori takes a deep breath, trying to steady herself. Did I read that right? Yeah, trying to steady herself. That's something about me that I've never told anyone before. Even now, my head is like screaming at me to stop. Wait, you don't have to force yourself. I mean, just because of the promise yesterday, I want to. It just feels right. I mean, maybe it's part of the reason I came to this club in the first place. This is the literature club. I trust you more than I'm scared. At those words, Monica stands up. Sayori must have taken days to work up the courage for this. Were Monica's own futile but genuine efforts actually the push that Sayori needed? Sayori's deliberate breath can be heard over the air conditioner. As she prepares herself to continue, Monica waits in gentle silence. I have this problem where I get really upset when people worry too much about me. I can't control it. It's like, why waste your energy worrying about me when you can just be happy instead? So I never tell anyone about these kinds of thoughts I have. So much easier to just smile and help everyone else be happy. But that's terrible. That's what Monica wants to say, but she stops herself in fear of saying the wrong thing. It's just that if everyone knew about it, they wouldn't treat me the same anymore. Like, whenever I'm not smiling, everyone would worry about me and ask me what's wrong. I know that because it used to be like that. It really yabba dabba do be like that though. Sayori pauses, seeming to recall something in the past. I just want everyone to be happy. That's the most important thing to me. And letting people look inside my head doesn't bring happiness to anyone. Sayori pauses again, her solemn expression making her look almost like an entirely different person. How did you find the courage to tell me this? You're not worried that I'll be one of those people too? I am worried. Part of me really hates myself for doing this, but another part of me, I think, just felt like it would be different this time. Whenever we talk about what the club is supposed to mean, I kept feeling like it was the right thing for me to do, especially after you've been trying so hard to express yourself too. It just made me feel like I could say it in confidence and our friendship doesn't have to change. It's so silly. The club is only 2 people, but it already means this much to me. Monica feels a tightening sensation in her heart. A feeling of connection as Sayori's emotions radiate between them. Me too. I was so lost until you showed up. You're so brave, Sayori. You're so strong and brave. I don't even compare. Monica steps forward. But if nothing else, I can at least offer you some hug energy, if you like. Ah! Wordlessly and without a smile, Sayori rests her forehead on Monica's shoulder. This is actually a nice CGI right here. Well, not CGI, but this is a nice background right here. I might actually keep this as my wallpaper, just so I can wake up, go to my computer, and be like, man, they really do love each other, huh? Okay. What did I say? Wordlessly and without a smile, Sayori rests her forehead on on Energy's shoulder, dude. Through their contact, Monica can almost feel the torrent of thoughts swimming in Sayori's head. And in this moment, enchanted by the air of the club, Monica realizes that all of the days have passed, this is the one where she really hopes that nobody new walks through the door. She speaks softly. You're like the sweetest girl I ever met. You can say anything. I'll never judge you. I promise. Sayori's breath begins to quiver. She takes several deep breaths and trying as hard as she can to start speaking. To say the things she never once dared to say out loud. Finally, she speaks in a choked voice. I'm so worthless. I'm worthless and everyone would be better off without me. She suppresses a sob as a tear falls down her cheek. I'm just an inconvenience to everyone. I'm not good at anything, and it just feels like everyone just has to put up with me. And I hate it. I hate it. The more Sayuri speaks, the more she fails to control her voice, falling victim to the overwhelming sadness clutching at her throat and chest. I don't want to have these thoughts. I want them to go away, and now I'm making you put up with me, and I just want to die. As soon as Sayuri loses her composure, Monica becomes determined to keep her own. She only wants to be what Sayuri needs right now, so she won't let any sadness show. Her voice comes through as soft and gentle. This isn't putting up with you. It's just being your friend. Monica offers a few words of comfort, but she knows Sayuri said it herself. The thoughts Sayuri experiences are ones that don't belong, and Monica can't magically make them go away. The most she can do is help Sayuri battle them, like any good friend would do. You have so much value to me and your other friends too. This club wouldn't have been the same without you. I really mean that. You coming here was the best thing that could have happened. Even if we never got any members, I still would be happy. That's what brought you here. You brought us a vision, and you also brought happiness. Oh, she actually crying. She crying. Why you crying, girl? Don't cry. Oh, I know why you're crying. And that's your favorite thing to do, right? Sayuri doesn't respond, but Monica feels her gently nod. No more words are needed between them. That was beautiful. I'm sorry, but that's just beautiful. The two share their embrace for a while longer, Monica letting Sayuri take as much time as she needs. Once her breathing steadies and her sniffles fully cease, Sayuri lifts her head and wipes her eyes. I guess I needed that. Yeah, you did. You look a lot better now. Some days are harder than others. Well, I'm here whenever you need me. But any other time, I'll make sure that things are the way they usually are. If that's what makes you happy. Thanks. You're the best. No, you are. The two exchange smiles. You know, I'm sorry to bring this up all of a sudden, but have you considered talking to a professional? Sayuri nods. It's scary, since it's already so hard to tell people. Yeah. Well, of course it will always be your choice, but if you're ever looking to find the courage for it, I can do my best to help you. Thanks. I think it helps knowing that you would. Sayuri suddenly yawns and stretches. Wow, that made me tired and hungry. XD. Look at that. That's the XD face. Well, I won't make you do any work today if you're not up for it. No, I want to. I mean, I can say that's definitely one of the things that make me happy. So, Monica smiles, but I might want to get a snack first. All of a sudden, the sound of the door causes the two of them to turn their heads. The door opens halfway, then stops. A face peeks inside. A face that seems familiar. And that would be Yuri! Because she saw something like that. Alright, so we got a picture right here. This one actually might be the picture. A scene from the side story Trust. You know, that's going to be a nice little thumbnail right there. So I'm going to take a picture of that. Probably download it. I don't even know if I even have it in here. Hold on. I want to check this out real quick. It says that I do. I really don't know if that's true or not. But like, I probably already have it up here. Yeah, I see it right there. That was part 2 of Trust. I think we need to go do Yuri's route. So next video we'll start Yuri's route, and then after that we'll start Natsuki. And yeah, anyway, thank you guys for watching, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.